So this video is going to be the last video of this series of customizing the graphical interface for Arch Linux. And in this video I'm going to disable the picom as it's sucking very much resources. I'm also going to apply that patch that we were talking about in the last video on the DWM, the alpha patch. So before disabling picom, I'll show you how that works, and after that I'll disable picom and some more tools. I'll show you to install some more stuffs, you can say some more cool stuff. So let's go ahead and start up this box, and after it loads may go ahead and okay, so there might be this thing. Let me focus the screen on that. Just a second. So I hope it's visible, and let me first log in. I'll start the XOR display server and I'll make the thing go full screen with host key and F, and it might look like this for you. So what you have to do is just simply, you can say nitrogen restore. But before that, I remember we had changed the wallpaper last time, right? So maybe that command that we used, the nitrogen set zoom fill, right? It just sets the wallpaper. It doesn't apply. Maybe it doesn't apply like we do in the graphical interface. Let me open up nitrogen with NITR like this. So yeah, the thing is all here only, and we have to apply it too. I mean that command, the nitrogen dash dash set zoom fill in the downloads, I think it was com, right? If I nitrogen, if I do this, the wallpaper changes, but it does not apply. So it changes for the just this session. After that, if I don't apply it, for example, so let me just go ahead, select this thing and apply it. And just to test my theory, let us reboot, and it should ask me for the credentials. This is our grub. Let's hit enter, and when it asks for my credentials, I'll type them in and log in. Let's start the xorg server. Yeah, so it took place. So now I'm going ahead. I'll show you how to apply that patch, the alpha patch of DWM. Let's go into the DWM directory in the .config in home. Let's so this is the alpha patch. You can see let's try to patch this thing like the old steps. Okay, so it failed at some points. Here, it fails at many points. Let me just remove this patch with this thing, patch dash R, and the same thing, patch dash R, and the name of the patch, DWM alpha. So it will fail like it did, but at those places where it succeeded, it will remove whatever it added to the files. Let me remove this thing, DWM alpha, because I remember there was one patch that succeeded. So let's search for that one. I mean, we can go ahead and solve those issues, but there are many failures, so I'll not go ahead. I'll show you something else in that. So let's go and search for DWM patches. It was coming here, right? This one. Let's go to the alpha. Let's try this one, 2020. Copy the link. Let me wget it. Should start downloading it. And so it is taking a little bit of time. Let's wait for it. Okay, so this is downloaded. Let's patch it. Same command, DWM alpha. Okay, so this one succeeded, everything succeeded. So let's try to apply it. Sudo, what was that? Yeah, copy, right? Config.f.h to config.h. It's asking for the password. Now let's make clean install, and it should do the work. Let me go to the second workspace and refresh DWM. Look at the top bar here, it's a little bit dark. When I restart DWM, it might become a little bit see-through or transparent or something. So it has changed a little bit. So that was that, and I haven't looked for what the variable is that controls the DWM transparency level, something like that. So you can go ahead, tweak around, and find out whatever you want to do. So let me just go ahead and disable the picom, so that, and after disabling it, this transparency of the top bar of the DWM and as well as the transparency of this thing, the terminal will get lost, I mean will be disabled. So let us do that. I'll stop xinit the picom from running by going to the xinit rc, and I can either remove this line or comment this line. I'll comment it for now, and I think we'll have to reboot. Let me go ahead and do that. So it is rebooting now. So it slows down the speed also, the picom. That's why I was. But if you have a good amount of resources and things like that, so and if you want to use it, you can use it. You are free to use it. I just didn't want to use it. So this was it, and yeah, so this is done. It is not transparent anymore. The terminal 2 is not transparent anymore. So I was talking about some cool stuff. Okay, before I started recording, I went ahead and applied a full screen patch as well. Okay, yes, a full screen patch on the ST. I forgot about recording. Let me show you what I did. So there might be, yeah, this one, full screen patch 0.8.51, and let me show where you can find that. When I open up Firefox, if I do st patches, there's one, and if I do full screen, okay, and yes, this patch also fails. So let me go ahead, I'll remove this patch and show you how to manually do it. There's one what key binding. If you press alt and then H, then the window on the right will get more space, like this. I'm pressing H. So, and if I do alt L, the on the left will get more space, like in Vim, HL. So let me give it a little bit more space. I'll go ahead and remove that patch. Let me show you before that. So currently we are on this terminal. If I do echo terminal, something like that. Okay, so this is the terminal, and the thing is that this patch generally in any kind of terminal in Linux, like for example, like in XFCE4 and other terminals, if you press the F11 function key, the terminal gets full screened. So if I do right now F11, I have not removed the patch, full screen patch. So if I do F11, you can see the terminal became full screen, right? So for that, you have to apply that patch. Let me first go ahead and remove that patch. When I remove that patch, okay, what was the name? ST full screen, right? So it says it failed at some places because it had actually failed at the time of patching too. So we had to manually do it. I'll show you what I'm talking about. And wait a minute. Okay, so let me go ahead and open this patch in a new tab. We can see what these things are. Let me now go ahead and apply the patch with this thing. Patch st, no, before that let me show you, let me confirm whether it got removed or not. Sudo cp config.h and make clean install. Let's do a refresh or restart DWM. Let me go to the second workspace and try to do F11. Okay, it's still working. So error. Okay, there's one error I followed. There's okay. So I have to remove these things. I had made some changes because it had failed. Okay, so wait a second. Just wait a second. Let me show you. You don't have to do these things that I'm doing right now. I'll tell you from where you have to start. Just wait a second. So there might be a, what was that? This is it. Let me just comment this and this. Okay, and one more thing, two more thing actually. And vim st.h. There was something in print screen. This one comment, and in x.c there were some things. You can find it. This one. Let's try to do it now, or I'll have to do one more thing maybe. So let's copy it, make clean install, and let's see what happens. Okay, wait, was make clean install run without any sudo? Was there any error? See, okay, so no error was there. Let's close this one. Let's go to the second thing. Let's restart and let's go to the second workspace. Let's open up a new terminal, and when I do F11, okay, nothing is happening. The function key F11 is not working. When I press on it, for me it shows a tilde symbol. Okay, so now the patch has been removed properly. Now let me go ahead, and from here you can follow me. So first of all, what you have to do is you got install this patch, and you got download this patch, copy it or wget it. I mean, by copying the link, wget it, or you can save it. Let me just show it. Let me remove the patch. What is it called? Full screen, right? st full screen rm. We don't have it anymore. So what you can do is copy this link, wget it, and it will download it for you. A second now. Okay, so it has downloaded from me now, and now if I go ahead, first of all let me do alt h, and if I go ahead and patch this using the the full screen, so it says it has failed in patching the file config.def.h at one place. So 1 out of 1 in config.h failed, config.def.h, sorry, and 1 out of 1 in st.h failed, and 1 also failed in x.c, but 2 succeeded. So there are 3 things that had failed. So we are going to now manually patch it, what I was talking about. So you got to open this thing in new tab. I have already opened it. Now you can see this is config.def.h, and you can see some pluses and minuses that symbolize which lines are to be added and which has to be removed. So these 2 lines you can see are having plus. So we are going to go ahead and copy these things, and these are under config.def.h, and after that st.h comes. So we are going to add these 2 lines because it was maybe not able to do so. So we'll go into nvim, edit it with nvim config.def.h, and we'll find what is before it, term mode, right? Term mode. There are many term modes, but this one has shift mask before it. It doesn't matter where you place it. So I have already done it here. Now if I press O, I'll go 1 line down. If I do Control Shift V, okay, wait, I pasted something else. was not copied. Maybe let me copy it again with Control C. That is copied. Let's go back here and Control Shift V. Okay, it's pasted now, although it is there already down there commented, but let's let it be like that. So these two things are pasted here. That's good. Now there was one failure in st.h, and here under st.h here we can see there's one line being added, and that line was not maybe they were not able to add, the patch function was not able to do so. So let's do it manually now, going into the st.h, and the line print screen is there. So I have commented this line. Let me just, I can uncomment or add this. I have added it now. Let me write and quit. There was one more thing that failed in x.c, and here is x.c. Under it, this line has to be added. So let me go ahead, edit the x.c. Okay, and the thing before it is atom xembed, this thing xembed, this one, and I have already added the line, but let me press O to get new line. It will give me another comment line. Let me uncomment that one after pasting the lines that I had copied. So it is there. Let me write it now. Okay, not write this, I added a, okay, now let me write it. And you can see there are many other lines also added here. So let us check if they are here or not. I think they should be, because only one thing had failed, but still, for the sake of making sure, I mean just to make sure, let me search for full screen. What is it? No, that should not be a particular keyword. Let's search for x event is equal to ev. So okay, so it is here. We can match it. These lines match the one here, and it is already here. I mean, so the patch function was able to add these lines, and there's two more lines. If we look for them, they are called new net wm full screen. It's called x w dot net wm full screen. If we do this, let's go to the next one. Here it is. Okay, here it is. So this is also added. Okay, so that's done. So let us copy those things with giving our password, and now let's make clean install. Now when I do it, let's hope everything has worked fine, and let's restart DWM with Alt Shift Q. Let's go to the second workspace. Let's do this, and let's try to full screen with F11, and it is working. So this was the patch for making it full screen. Maybe it can make the Firefox full screen too. Let's check. Can it? No, it is not doing that for Firefox. Okay, no problem. For that we'll have to implement the full screen on patch of DWM, I think. So you can go ahead and do that. You can search for that and things like that. So this was a patch. Now let me tell you about for example, there's one thing called top that helps you to see what processes are running, how much resources they are using. A more colorful, much interactive version of this is htop. So you can go ahead and install it using sudo pacman-s htop. I have already installed it, I think. Yeah, it says reinstalling. I'll still go ahead and install it. So we installed it, and now if I do htop, it is much more interactive. I mean, not much more interactive, but it is good to look, good for the eyes. No, not good for the eyes, but pleasant for the view. It is giving a pleasant view, something like that. So you can, if you see here down in the bottom, you can see many options. You can search for the process that are running, and you can kill them using F9. For example, let me open up a browser once again using Firefox, and it will show me here in the htop 2. Let me do click on this F3. You can either click on this and it will give you a search prompt, and I can escape and exit out of there, or I can just press F3, the F3 button, and then I can go ahead and type FIREFOX, and there a line became yellow colored. Now if I press F9 on that, it came down here. I mean, it became yellow colored. I press enter, So it has selected that process. Now if I do F9, which is kill, so I'm doing a function F9, so it gives me many different types of signals that we can send it. The basic signal for killing process I think is sig term, the 15th number one. You can move it up or down, any type of signal you want to send to a particular process. I'll send it sig term and it killed it. So that's one way to do things. I can escape out of here by just pressing Q or Control C, whatever you like. And then this was one thing. There's one more thing called btop. It gives a more descriptive view of the things you have. There are many softwares like btop, but this one I think is made in C, so it is much less resource consuming. So I've installed that too. Let me just go ahead and reinstall that. If I do btop, you can see here it provides me a interface like that one that was being presented by htop. Here are some other information about the system, about disks, memory, the network, the CPU menu. This one is a line that will go ahead, keep on going ahead. It will tell me about the system CPU. The one here tells about battery. If you can see F is in a particular color, I is in a particular color. It means if I press F, it will help me to find something. There's D. If I press D, something like that happen related to that. If I press M here, it will give me a menu. If I got the options, there are many themes I can select, many other types of settings I can set here and stuff. Let me choose any one. Let me choose this one, for example, escape. So now this line is going ahead. It will keep on going as long as this thing is running. And here we are seeing there are signals to kill, terminate, and other things. So we can do stuff from here too. And one of the let this run for a while. There's one more thing that's very much famous. I won't say very much famous, but you all might have heard of the matrix thing, that those numbers and characters go on the screen down, flow down like something like that. So there's a program that is very much famous called C matrix that helps us to achieve that effect. There are many other softwares, but C matrix is one of those which is much more famous. So you can just go ahead and install it using this command, which is equivalent to apt install. If I do this C matrix, it will say, I think, reinstalling this. Yeah, let me go ahead and do that. Now if I do C matrix, so it has started doing the job, and you can set it as a screensaver or something. You can go ahead and do that. Let me quit. Control C or Q, anything. And we can set some colors too. For example, if I do red, you give me red, and there are some list of colors that are allowed. If I do a man for C matrix, search for color by forward, hitting / and then color and then enter. There are some, this one gives us what all colors are allowed: the green, red, blue, white, yellow, cyan, magenta, and black. So these are some colors. Now let us integrate this effect with the full screen one that we just implemented. If I do C matrix, and now if I press F and F11, now you can see how it looks like. Let me do it once again. So this is how it looks like. You can if the system is idle, you can leave it like this or something. Now let me just make this full screen go away. Let me close this terminal, go to the first workspace where btop was running, and it has recorded some ups and downs in the resource consumption and stuff like that. Let me quit out of this with Q or Control C, whatever you like. So these were some of those tools, some of those resources you can use if you want to. If you don't want to, these might be resource consuming depending upon the amount of resources you have. If you want to use them, you can use them. And with this, I'll say this marks the end of this thing. I would also like to say that I used the window manager. Wait a minute. No, did I just tell you about nano? No. I think I didn't tell you about nano. There's one editor that I used called neovim, which we can call using nvim call. There's also a vim editor, and there's one more user friendly editor called nano. So that is somewhat similar to the notepad. If I just do nano and some random file, for example config dwm, the config fetch, you can see it doesn't have the color scheme, but it works very much similar to the, what do we say, notepad. It doesn't have the mouse pointing and integrated, but there are many other, I mean, we can copy with mouse and stuff like this, but here on the bottom we can see there are some commands with up arrow. The up arrow stands for control. So for example, if I go here where it says gimp, if I do shift and the right arrow key to select it, and if I just cut it with control K, it'll get cutted. If I paste with control U, here it is, some and things like that. Now if I want to exit, I can control X, and it says there in the bottom left, and it asks me if I want to save the modified buffer. I'll say N, no. Now I'm out of it. And so nano is something like that. Let me just open it once to talk about something. Let me increase the font as much as I can. I mean, okay, so we have used the window manager as DWM, right? And we have used the terminal as ST, and the compositor as picom, and I actually removed that. So what I'm trying to say is we don't have to use only these things. There are many other options available, like this BSPWM window manager, and I am not remembering much. There's many options. These are some. There's XFC CE4 terminal. One more famous terminal is Alacrity, if I remember. This terminal, this composer, there's XComp MGR, if I'm right. I don't remember, but there are many other options. You don't have to stick to these options, the DWM, ST, picom things. There are many other options, so if you want, you can go ahead and explore. There are many resources out there. There are many ways to configure your system, to give your system a graphical interface, but I used this way. If you want, you can use this way, or you can, I will encourage you to, if you want, you can use this way, or use some other ways to try to configure, try to understand things. And so exit out of this. I don't want to save this. One more cool thing I must say to show the information of our system is neofetch, and I have installed that too, I think. Let us install it using this command. It is called neofetch. It is available in almost all Linux based distributions. That's capital S, and if I do now neofetch, you can see it gives information. It gives the logo of Arch Linux, then information about the operating system, the host, the kernel version, the uptime, how much time this thing has been running, the shell, the window manager is DWM, terminal, ST, themes, and CPU memory that is being used right now, stuff like that. So, and some people like to do this. Let me show you what. Let me edit the bash rc if I am at home. Yeah, not vim, it's nvim. And if I just add neofetch here, so what it will do is, let me just close the terminal and then restart the DWM, and then open a terminal with Ctrl+Shift+C. So whenever I open a terminal, it will run this command first. So for example, if I open another terminal, it's doing things like that. So some people like to do it this way. If you want, you can, but I'm going to remove it because it's again resource consuming. I'll call neofetch only when I want to. So let's make that go away. Let's make that go away by removing this line and then saving it. So I think this is it for the final part, this final video. And so I'll power off this machine now, and I'll say do as much research as you can. And yeah, if you were able to follow me till here, if you were able to do everything as I did, and so congratulations if you were able to do that. And if you were not able to do so, or if you face any kind of problem, then feel free to comment down in the comment box down below. I'll share the important links with you down in the description. I'll also, if there's anything, I'll also remind you about those things, if there's anything that I left in the comment box. So this marks the end of this series on graphical configuration. So thank you for watching.